Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is, whatever corner you are in the world. Today we're going to carry on with our book. And yesterday we end up in talking about Phil's telling the story about his dad to his psychologist. So that was his story, and that was where we finished on that side. And on the other side, we have Nisha that returns the clothes to the suite. So what's next? What's next with Ho Ho? Someone else's shoes. So the next thing is um Phil goes back to his house. He carry on with being that depressing man that cannot tell his wife what's happening with him, and now he just needs to basically just Phil hasn't told Sam about the issue about his dad and what is the reason why he feels overwhelmed and he feels like useless basically. So um on the other hand, um well, basically, he's just neglecting Sam all this time. Like he goes back to his house, lay on the couch, watch TV, eat, and sleep. That's all he's doing because the man feels like he's useless. On the other hand, Nisha is living with Jasmine. Jasmine is the other lady. Remember the lady that found her the job at the hotel. And Nisha is living with Jasmine. And with Jasmine's daughter, which she's very young. She's not a teenager yet. And Nisha is sleeping in the same room as um, Jasmine's daughter, which Jasmine's daughter doesn't like because she feels like she is like getting into her space and she feels like obviously like taking some of her privacy. Moving forward, in the hotel, there is this man, and everybody knows like if you read it, like it's clearly that he has a thing for Nisha. He's always so polite. He's always too kind and like making things for her, like giving her food and doing all these things. And he's not too approaching, but he really wants Nisha to notice him. It feels like, even though he says that he wasn't trying because Nisha is very beautiful, but um he's just being nice to her. Anyway, um, Nisha decided to tell him at some point what the issue is and what happened to her life. And he's like, did you try to call him? And she's like, yes, but he's not picking up the phone, meaning Mr. Cantor, Nisha's husband. And this guy, the chef of the hotel, he's like, well, you should call him from my number because he doesn't know it, so he needs to answer it. And she's like, oh yeah. So Nisha called him, and the husband he actually answers the phone. And when he answers the phone, it's so casual. It's like, hi darling, how you been? Like, he's like, are you okay? Like, we need to talk, blah blah blah. And she's like, what the like Nisha's so confused because this whole time he hasn't even responded to her messages, like to her calls. Like he's been trying to avoid her, and now he's like, "Sweetheart, darling," blah blah blah. this is her time. So Nisha is like, we need to talk. He's like, yes, we do. He's like, where are you? We can meet at blah blah blah. She's like, no, we meet downstairs in the hotel, which she's already there, obviously. And he's like, okay, I see you in the lobby. And they meet up. When they meet up, and he comes and he's just like so sweet, and he's like, oh, darling, like so acting like nothing happened, like it's just so normal. And then it's just like, what the fuck, like what you did, what did you do to me, blah blah, like where's my stuff, like please give me my stuff. And he's like, no, I'm not giving you your stuff. Basically, after a long talk, he's like, no, I'm not giving you just your stuff because I bought it for you. So basically, he thinks that because he bought those things for Nisha, it's basically his because he spent the money. So basically, he didn't give it to her. He just basically dressed her, and that's all. So Nisha's like shocked because she's like, what the fuck? And she's like, no, you need to give me what I deserve, like her part, like, yeah, settlement. And he's like, where are your shoes? And she's like, what? Like the Christian's Louboutin. And she's like, I don't have them. Like, they stole them. Someone stole them from me. And he's like, well, when you give me the shoes, I'll give you the settlement and we talk about it. And she's like, how the fuck I'm gonna have him if they, so the gym where she used to go, they closed it temporary. So there's no one there, and there's no way for her to find out who took the shoes. So Nisha is like, what? And she's like, he's like, yeah, when you get the shoes, we talk again. So Nisha now she's in this trouble. What the fuck am I gonna do? Blah 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 and all that. She's all stressed out. And um so it turns out that he leaves, and Nisha now is stuck with thinking like, how am I gonna get those shoes? So the chef saw her, obviously, and then they start talking about it, whatever. Anyway, nothing happened. And there is this day when actually Nisha and Jasmine had different shifts, and the chef gives her like it was like a turkey or something, and apparently the hotel got too many, and then he's like, here you go. Anyway, he seasoned the meat and all that for her so she can just put it in the oven. And in her way to the house, she takes Jasmine. She's like, don't eat. I'll have a surprise for you. She wanted to cook something for her and for the daughter to thank them for like taking their space and all of that, right? So when she goes in the bus, Jasmine calls her. So Jasmine calls her and she's like, can you pick up my daughter? The daughter always stays with the grandma until Jasmine can pick her up. And um, Nisha is like, yeah, sure. She's not too happy about it because she knows that the daughter doesn't like her. So it's kind of like, it's going to be super awkward, but okay, fine, do it. In the way to her daughter, to Jasmine's daughter, there's this lady that jumps in the bus, and then basically she's almost on top of Nisha. And long story short, they started fighting. Like they started fighting, blah blah, blah, and Nisha kind of, I don't think she shoved her, but it gets to like the lady like trip or something, and they start fighting in the bus, and the bus guy is like, the bus driver is like, you guys need to stop this or I'm gonna call the police. They pull them out of the bus, and when Nisha realizes she forgot the fucking turkey under the seat, so now it's like, fuck's sake. Anyway, she goes, gets the daughter, they go home, and then she had such a bad day that she needed a bath. So she took a bath, and there's no food. When Jasmine comes home, she gets really upset. She's like, okay, where's my surprise? And she's like, oh, Jesus Christ, I'm so sorry. Like, something happened, blah, blah. And she's like, I left. some curry because you told me that you had surprise. So now Jasmine hasn't eaten anything, and now Nisha didn't have anything to eat in the house. So now they need to figure it out what to do. And Nisha leaves the heater on, and the heater is very expensive. So Jasmine gets like up to here, and she starts screaming like, "Jesus Christ, this is not how we do things here. Like, things cost money, Nisha. You need to put more attention." Blah blah blah. Nisha feels horrible, and at the end, they're like, it's just like, "I'm sorry." So at this point, Nisha is like, I just can't even think. She pulled herself together, went to the store, grabbed some food, came back, gave Jasmine food and some money. And she's like, "I'm getting out of here right now. Thank you for your hospitality, blah, blah, blah." And then she wants to leave. And Jasmine is like, "Relax, girl. I was upset. Calm down. You had nowhere to go. Like, you staying here, blah, blah, blah." So it was just one of those moments. And Nisha ended up staying there. And the next day, Jasmine's daughter finds out what happened to Nisha, and then she apologized to her. So she apologized to her, and she said, "I'm so sorry for what I did to you, blah 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 blah." And then after that, like, she's like, um, now she feels a little more relief because the daughter knows what's happening and she understands, and then there's no more like rolling eyes or like feeling like, oh, like someone is in my house, like all of those things. So so that's that. On the other hand, on the other side of the story, there is Sam, which Sam starts going to the boxing. And when she goes to boxing, well, she goes with Joe and all of that. And what happened? Tell me what happened. Well, let me tell you. So, um, what happened is that the daughter's friends, um, what's her name? I forgot the names of the daughter. But Sam's daughter's friend sees her in the gym right when she comes out of the gym, and she gives a hug to Joe, but not a hug of bad thing. It's just like, "Thank you for inviting me to boxing," or whatever. And now they're basically saying that Sam is cheating on the dad. So Sam's daughter is really pissed off because she's like, "My dad is going through all this. She's fucking cheating. No wonder why she's putting all this makeup every day. Like, no wonder why she's coming home late, blah, blah, blah." So Nisha's daughter is like in this situation, like, should I tell my dad or not? When she comes back home, like, the dad is in the bedroom, sleep, like laying down, depressed. And somehow, I don't remember exactly, but Sam's daughter starts like, "Well, where's mom?" Or whatever, whatever. And he's like, "I don't know." Like, he never knows. And she flips. She's still like, "What the fuck? Like, why you guys don't know? Like, why you don't know what your wife is? I can't believe I being the grown up here. You guys are like, killed kids. Like, my mom is cheating on you. Don't you see? Like, look at these shoes, the Louboutins." And she's like, "Look at these shoes. Like, look what's happening." Like, she's wearing these shoes now, and she's wearing all this makeup, and she's doing all of this, and she's going home, going to bars, and coming back late, and all of these things, right? And then she's really upset because obviously she thinks that her mom is cheating. And he doesn't say anything. That night, Sam comes back home, and they're eating in the kitchen, and nobody says nothing. And the daughter just got up and leaves. And everybody's really short with Sam. But Sam starts talking to him and telling him that, "Oh, I got a meeting with Miriam Price, I think it's called. She was the person that she met when she first had those shoes, when she got the wrong bag. That first meeting that I told you at the beginning." And she's like, "She wants to meet me. I think it's a good thing, blah blah." But she hasn't tell Phil that she might be fired very soon. And this is terrifying for her because she doesn't know what to do, blah blah. Um it gets to a point where she realized that he's not even paying attention, and he ends up like getting off like really brutally and leaves her. He's playing the dishwasher and leaves, and she end up eating on her own at the end. At this time, nobody says anything about like you cheating on me or anything like that. So on the other hand, Nisha start thinking like, what am I gonna do? How am I gonna get these shoes? I need these shoes because otherwise she won't get the settlement. And she realized she ended up going to the last pub. There's too many pubs in England that call almost the same. So she goes to the same to that pub, the last one. So she goes there like around 10 o'clock or something. That day she didn't want to work. So she asked the guy, hey. So she starts telling them like, look, I need to see your CCTV. And he's like, no, you can't. Like, that's only for police. We cannot have anybody. She's like, please do that. She's like, I need to know who stole my shoes. And he's like, shoes? She's like, yes. So, anyway, after a back and forth, no, you can't, blah, 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 he ends up saying, okay, sit here. What time? Oh, because she said, I know the time, I know the time when she was here, like around this and this time. So you just look for it on this day. And the kid is like, okay. So he goes and starts in like looking, and then he brings the iPad to show her. And when he does that, he's like, oh, um, so he's like, here it is. So she started looking and she couldn't find it. He's like, it's white, black and white, so you can see the shoes. She's like, trust me, I know what shoes are, and I can tell the shoes in black and white, basically. So he's like, okay. So she started looking at everybody like in the room and all that, and then she realizes like, there is the bitch, like with my shoes, she's dancing, like come on. And he's like, oh, the blueprint people. And she's like, blueprint? And he's like, yeah, he's Joe, he's blah blah blah. And he started pointing like everybody that was that day there. And he's like, yeah, they always come here on Fridays for like after work. She's like, oh my god. So now she knows who it is, and now she knows where she works, and now she's like, oh shoot. So anyway, this is the day when Sam has an appointment with Miriam Price. Remember I told you? And that day, going back to Sam's, um, she basically, she basically tells, what's it called? Oh, so Sam goes to the restaurant where she met Miriam, and then when they're there, like they start talking, blah blah, about their daughters and all that. Then all of a sudden, Sam's boss, texts her something about a client that there was a message and nobody took care of it, and then now they're putting fingers on Sam, and then the boss wants Sam fired, so he's just trying to pick on her all the time. And she's like, I'm with Miriam Price, I'm having a lunch, so yeah, I'll take care of it when I get home. And basically, long story short, Miriam wants to give her a job. So in the conversation, she's like, please wear the shoes that you wear because, yeah, like you need to see more confident because the shoes make Sam feels confident. And Sam is like, okay. But the day Sam decided to take the Chanel jacket with her, which is Nisha's. And after that meeting, she goes back to work. So now she feels like, fuck, if they fire me, at least I have this job lined up over here. So she doesn't feel too bad anymore. But when she goes, Nisha already knows where Blueprint is. And now she's looking at the door, like what's happening, where to get in, whatever. Like she's looking at the guys, like in the back of the door and all that. And then here's Sam coming back from the meeting. And what she does, she goes to this office where the guy's at. And she asks Joe, where's your gloves? And Joel's like, well, they're not gonna feed you, right? And she's like, well, try me. So he gives her the gloves, the boxing gloves, and she started hitting the bag. In one of those moments, she's like, Miriam offered me a job. And he's like, what? He's like, I don't want you to leave. And she's like, I don't want to leave either. Sh- Sam comes close to Joe, grab him with his face, with her gloves, and then all of a sudden they kiss. They kiss so passionate that she can even tell. Actually, she can. She's like, I never be kissed before like this. Like not even her husband has kissed her like that. Like it was so passionate, and so much like passion in between them, like connection, all that. They're like, oh my god, like she's like over the moon, and bam, someone is looking at them. It's a coworker, and she's like, she grabs herself, runs to the office, goes to her cubicle, and she's thinking, everybody knows already. Oh my god, they're gonna look at me. And then she started looking at everybody like, oh, she probably knows. This girl knows. Everybody knows. And then she's like, oh my god, what am I gonna do? Like she's all hesitating. And then in the moment she started daydreaming about the kids, there's like, where is my shoe, bitch? Nisha in the door. And then she started walking towards Sam's cubicle. She stands there and she's like, what? Says Sam. And he's just like, you stole my shoes. She's like, wait, what? She's like, yes, from the gym. She's like, oh my god. Basically, that's a misunderstanding. And she's like, no, you stole them. So, and she's like, and that's my Chanel bag, my Chanel jacket. And she's like, yeah. She's like, that's not a mistake. I mean, if it was a mistake, why are you using it like it's just yours? Like, basically, like, Sam made the biggest mistake by doing that and not making effort to go back to the gym the same day and dropping up the bag. So, so at this point, it's like, you stole them, you stole my shoes. And Sam is like, no, it was a misunderstanding. And then Simon comes. Why? And Simon is like, what's happening? What's going on? And Sam is like, it's not what you think. And he's like, huh? He's like, you fire. That was the last straw. Simon fires Sam for not like for a misunderstanding, and she's like, no, it's just anyway. He's like, take your stuff and leave. The security will come and escort you out. I cannot tolerate this behavior of thief. Like basically they thought she was a thief. And she's like, oh my god, inside her, she's like, what am I gonna tell Phil? Like, what's gonna happen? Like all of these things. I sometimes just still thinking about the kiss with Joe. So after that, Jasmine is like, I wait for you outside. I mean, Nisha is like, I wait for you outside. When Sam goes outside, Nisha is waiting for her. And she's like, pause right there. That day, Sam's car break down and Phil didn't want to help. So Sam had to take a taxi to work. So now, not only she has no car, but now they have to walk together, Nisha and Sam, to Sam's house to get the shoes. And Sam is like, please don't walk like you're police or something, because Nisha was like behind her. And she's like, well, I don't know if you can be a sprint champion or something, as far as I know. I don't know. I just feel comfortable walking like that to see every movement. And Sam is like, oh Jesus. So she was like, here, like, I wanna die. And she felt disappointed of herself, and now she feels like she let her family down, and then now she kissed a man that is not her husband. So now she's like, oh my god, what am I gonna do? So but this time Sam already called a friend because she wanted to bend. And Right when they got to Sam's house, her friend Andrea was already there waiting. By this point, Phil is still under the car. They have a trailer that they need to fix. So Phil is fixing it. And Sam goes inside the house. She goes upstairs to get the bag, the gym bag, comes outside, give it to Nisha. And Nisha is like, I'm gonna check that everything's here. And she's like, everything's there, but go ahead. And she opens the bag. In the meantime, Sam is in the kitchen telling um, Andrea, I think, her friend, that she got fired. She's like, what? And then she's like, yep. In the kitchen, Nisha comes and she's like, where's my shoes? And she's like, they're there. And she's like, you fucking kidding me? They're not here. And she's like, what? Then Phil comes in and Phil's like, notice Nisha. And she's like, hi. Basically, like, who are you? And she's like, Sam is like, have you seen some shoes? Blah, blah, blah. And he's like, yes, the ones that you use with your mistress or with that guy that you cheat on me, basically. And Sam is like, what? I'm not cheating on you. And he's like, oh no, so why you been using them? And Nisha is like, wait a minute, like, okay, pause. Like, she wants her shoes now. She's dealing with like an affair and she needs her shoes. And she's like, why did you put the shoes? Because these are not mine, those are theirs, hers. And then he's like, I put them in the trailer, but what's her name? Let me see. The daughter's name is Colin or something like that, I think. It's a super weird name. Well, not weird, but it's just like, I don't picture a girl named like that. I told you. Um, it's around here. The daughters basically took the shoes to Goodwill and um, she took them then because she didn't want to see them because she felt like the shoes were making her parents like break up or like problems because she thought that Sam was cheating on him. So she hated those shoes because she thought that they were like a type of stripper type of shoe. So when they find out that and that Sam's daughter took the shoes to Goodwill, Misha is like, great, like, fuck's sake. Like, she was really pissed off. And, what's her name? Uh, Sam's friend, what's her name? What's her name? Let me see, 1 second. Let me just check. Andrea. She calls Sam's daughter because she wants to know where she took the shoes. This is before that. And then they found out that she took him to the Goodwill. But this time she's like, we can go and we can probably still find them. And at this point, Nisha is like, seriously, like, what else? In the car, they go in the car and everything's quiet, nobody's talking, whatever. They got to the Goodwill and Sam's get out of the car and Nisha is like, you're not going alone. I'm going with you. And then at this point, when since she's going with her, they get inside and all that, and then they ask someone like, um, is there anybody brought some shoes from yesterday? Blah blah blah. Like, we're here because my daughter made a mistake, and basically like she gave him away without me knowing. And the lady's like, no, I don't know. So at the end, they end up find out that yes, they put the shoes right away in the shelf. So someone took him. Now it's like, oh my god, what am I gonna do? So now Nisha is like pissed off because she's like, don't understand. This is my life. This can cost me millions of dollars. And Sam is like, it's just some shoes. And you don't understand. If I don't give that shoe, I'm not getting anything. Like, come on. Like, nobody knows the problem in the situation that Nisha is. So, because it's just some shoes, right? But it's not just the shoe. It's like the thing behind that, the shoes, like the purpose. And then Sam is like, wait, in Goodwill, you always have to find, like, sign up. At the end, they ask you for your address and your name. And you do that. And Sam is like, we can ask and we can find out who bought them. Well, they go inside, and the friend, Andrea, she's in chemo, she had cancer. So they're there and they're like, okay, you should have the address. They ask the lady again, like, blah, blah, we need the address, the name. Look, we need the shoes, please. The lady's like, it's impossible. Like, I cannot give you addresses just like that. Well, long story short, Andrea makes a scene like, oh, she fainted. And then nobody knew this. So Nisha is like, oh my God, Andrea, she's like collapsing. So everybody's like, oh, freak out. The customers, like, they go around her. And then the cashier, the lady that was helping them, and she's like, oh, I know CPR, whatever. Wow, they're doing that, and they were going to go and help as well. Like, Andrea is like, she winks at them and is like, oh, okay, this is the time. So they go quick and they start like getting like the addresses, like they start looking on the ledgers and all that, and they found who got him. They found the address, they found the name and all that. Well, let me tell you something. They got to the house of the person, but I don't know what's gonna happen because that's all I got to. Tomorrow I have another 15 minutes of reading, and I'm gonna find out if they have the shoes or not. Oh my God, this is so good. Like, I know this is like, I'm giving you the short version, that the whole thing is just such a drama. Like, I highly recommend this book. I highly, highly, highly recommend it. Like, it's super fun, super good. So please, please, please let me know if you like it. Um, Tomorrow I'll be on time with you too. Tomorrow I'm gonna be actually telling you the story like real time, because I mean, it's been a long time since I started reading, so there's a lot that it's forgotten, and it's a lot that, like, I cannot tell you. But tomorrow I'm gonna be like, basically, like, everything I'm gonna tell, like, I'm gonna read it and I'm gonna do the video right away so I don't forget. But seriously, guys, like, this is like the best story, like fiction story ever, better than Hollywood. And like, I just can't tell you like how much I like it. Like, I really enjoyed it. If I can, I'm just gonna read all. Like, I just need to finish it, because now at this point it's like, okay, what's gonna happen? Because let me tell you something, Nisha. Before all of this happened, Nisha went to the kitchen, to the hotel. She was so excited by telling the chef that she found who had the shoes. Oh, they're happy, and then he hugs her, and then they kiss. I know, like, they finally kiss, and she still doesn't know about that. So we haven't got that yet, because right now she's like in the look for her shoes. So we don't know like what's gonna happen with her and the chef. The chef has a daughter that sometimes he spend the time with her, but he works that, and he wishes he worked like he had his own restaurant, but obviously it's too expensive and he can afford that. So we'll see. We'll see. I kind of have a feeling that Nisha is gonna end up with him, and I kind of have a feeling that um Sam is gonna, is either gonna break up with the husband, or is gonna leave Joe and fix her problems with her husband. And I hope he tells her everything, like, about his dad and all that, because I feel like if they don't have that communication, it's like there's nothing. So yeah, like, please, please, please tell me how you like this. If you really like it, or if you think that I should just do something else, just tell me. I have so many books that I can read again and I can talk to you about, or I can just tell you like what they are. And yeah, like, please let me know if you like this. I hope now you can go to sleep or you can be more relaxed.